Hey guys, so I've been here in Japan for almost an entire month, which is crazy. I feel like I've literally only been here for like a week. Not really, but not a month. It's just crazy to think about. But anyways, I made this video to tell you guys why I'm going to Zambia. My youth group at Oak Point Church 707 is putting on a mission trip through July 13th through the 29th. We'll be there helping out in orphanages and doing work trips, and yeah. So at first I didn't really want to go. I thought that I wouldn't have enough rest. What I mean is, I feel like I'm always going, always doing something, and I felt like I needed a rest, because the last couple summers I've gone places, and yes, this business trip is shorter, but I'm in Japan right now, and I'm gonna be here for almost 3 months, so I just feel like I just need some rest during the summer. But I mean, and I realized that God's my battery, God is my life. So He will give me the rest I need. And what is rest, really? I thought about that. I was like, what is rest? What's the rest I'm actually looking for? Is it just sitting down watching TV? Because honestly, what is that really gonna do for me in my life? Like binge watching a bunch of Netflix movies? Like honestly, like what is that really gonna do for me? So I just thought to myself, like, you know, if anything's gonna be rest, it's gonna be going on a missions trip, because I could clear my mind away from the world and start thinking of only Jesus. Being here in Japan has showed me a lot of things about myself and who I am. God has really spoken to me a lot about who He thinks I am and what He wants for me in my life. I really believe that, you know, ministry is going to be a big thing in my life when I get older. I think that it's going to be my career. Through me being here, God has showed me that He is my rest. And if I can physically go to a mission trip, I just think to myself, like, why not? Why not? Because the Lord's gonna use me there, and we're always on a mission trip. But I feel like the person He's particularly made me to be. I just love different cultures. I love seeing new people, I love meeting new people, and I feel like He's made me a very outgoing person. So I feel like for Him to give me this opportunity, I shouldn't waste it. Even though I feel like it's too busy, it's too much, I think that I need to overlook that, because He's going to replenish my strength. He is my strength. So I shouldn't be worried about that. At first, and I was also worried about the money, because who isn't? But I mean, but I realized, like, all the money that we have is given to us by Him. You know, it's a gift. It's not technically our money. He can take it away whenever He wants. Oh my gosh, my hair. It's so frizzy. I totally forgot what I was saying. You know, I'll make the money. I'll raise the money. I'm sending out letters. I'm playing music. I'm doing bake sales, and I'm also gonna be asking for returnables and cans, which really doesn't make a lot of money, but mostly the awareness. Like in my neighborhood, people will like, oh, that's that kid that does missions trips. So I want, like, oh my gosh, where are you playing music? I would love to come, or stuff. It's mostly for the awareness, but it still works. And so I know that I can get the money, and the Lord will provide the money. But I'm just so thankful that the Lord was able to make it clear to me, like, that I want you to go, because I know I'm not worried about the money anymore, because He's giving me ideas to raise money, and I'm just not afraid of that anymore, which is, I just feel a lot, like, happier about it. But something that I'm looking forward to in Zambia is that I really am praying that the Lord uses me further in Zambia, and also back to being in Japan. I really think that the Lord's going to use me here, because I found a church. It's amazing. It's called 21st Century Christ Church, and it reminded me of home, and it was just so cool. I met this guy, he's from Chicago, and he's been living here for like a year now, and he works there, and I just been there once, but I loved it so much, and it made an impact on me, because I didn't realize that being here for almost a month and not going to church, like, you know, like, we don't need church. I don't believe that we need church, because the body of Christ is just us, like it's just the church is us, and the word is better than any sermon we can ever listen to. So, and I was doing that, but I didn't realize like how it's so important to worship with others, and it just felt so nice when I walked in. And it felt so amazing being able to worship, and it made me feel really good because I'm not really missing home that much, but I'm missing the people. And by me going there, it reminded me of Oak Point, and because I grew up in Oak Point, and so it just brings, it's like, you know, big part of my life. And they even sang no longer slaves in Japanese. It was the coolest thing ever. Like, I was able to sing in English with them speaking Japanese. It was just really cool. And also, they had the healing pastor from Bethel Church in California there, and he was from New Zealand, so he had a thick accent, and there was a translator, so I got to hear like a cool accent and Japanese. It was like perfect day. Like, it was so good. It was so good. And he told like such amazing stories, and just how like just amazing stories. And just the biggest thing he was talking about is resting in the fire. Like, he is a 22-year-old daughter that's a lot of disabilities, and he just said that he's been struggling for the last 22 years taking care of her. And he just said like, but I've learned to rest in the fire, which is a beautiful thought. And he also was talking about the story of Meshach, Abednego, something. You know, the furnace story. So they, you know how they put them in the furnace, and when they look in there, there's four men to 3. Like, Jesus is with us. He was saying that, like, how Jesus is with us, and how when we feel like we're in the furnace, God is with us. And the second thing is, he was talking about how when they came out of the fire was meant to kill, but when they came out of the fire, they weren't burnt whatsoever, and they didn't even smell like fire. But the only thing that was burned was the shackles. And it was just an analogy of saying, like, when we go through something, we as Christians, as a lover of Jesus, we can't be hurt by it. The fire is meant for bad, but the Lord just turns it right into good, and he just grows us as a person and further takes off more chains. And I think that's such an amazing thing. Like, so beautiful. Just the whole process of being in Japan has led me to the conclusion that I should go to Zambia, that I shouldn't be afraid of not raising the money. I shouldn't be afraid of not succeeding. I shouldn't be afraid of just losing time in my summer. Like I said, this summer is not going to be restful. Also, the whole vlogging thing I've been doing, hopefully it actually goes somewhere, because right now it's not really doing. Or only because the more mission trips I go on, the more trips I'm able to go on, people can see them, but most importantly, they can see what is really happening on a mission trip. And that's like the biggest thing. I've always felt like after I go on a mission trip, I can never really explain what really happened. It's always like, it's really cool. But this way, I'm able to really show them like what's happening on a mission trip. So I'm impacted and they're impacted, and because I feel like they can't really be impacted by me just saying, "Oh, it was cool." And I don't always just say it's cool, but it's hard to like come up with like what's too much to say, what's too less to say, because there's so many different kinds of people that are like, "Oh, how'd your mission trip go?" But in the back of their mind, they're like, "I actually don't care what happened. I'm just asking to be polite." And then there's other people that are like, "How was your mission trip? I actually really want to know." So, but you can't really tell the difference. You can't really tell the difference. So if people really want to know what happened, they can watch the video and they can be impacted. And I think that's awesome, because even when I come home from Zambia, people can further be impacted, and it's like really cool. And hopefully they're impacted by the vlogging, even in Japan, because God has been doing such cool things here. But I feel like God is going to use me on this mission trip. I'm looking forward to going in Zambia, and please look out for ways I'm fundraising, so you can help out if you want to. Please comment below on any questions you have about it, or any thoughts about the mission trip to Zambia. I would love to answer. And also please subscribe and look out for more videos about Japan. Thanks for watching.